Sawubona from Wellington in South Africa. The Zulu greeting meaning, we see you. To which the reply, Nghikona we are here. It is the constitution of an invitation to have a dialogue together. It is an invitation extended to each other to share in each other's realities. But to see each other also places on each person the duty to give what is required at that moment for the life that we hold in our hands. Sawubona, my brother and my sister. Welcome to this virtual chapel meeting of the Andrew Murray Centre for Spirituality. We dearly believe that God is already waiting for us to engage. Be comfortable, light a candle if available, and with every inhale of breath, you can ponder on the words, God is here. And when exhaling, I am here. Do it now. Be still and know, I am your God. Be still and know, I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Almost all the readings this week from the Revised Common Lectionary remind us that the Christian story is fundamentally about divine inclusion conquering human exclusions. It is about bringing people into the fullness of God's shalom, rather than shutting them out in a zero-sum game. The epistle reading for this week is Romans 11. I am reading from the Message. Listen to this heartfelt story about the relationship between God and His people Israel, and see God in action. Does this mean then that God is so fed up with Israel that He'll have nothing more to do with them? Hardly. Remember that I, the one writing these things, am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham out of the tribe of Benjamin. You can't get much more Semitic than that. So we are not talking about repudiation. God has been too long involved with Israel, has too much invested to simply wash His hands off them. Do you remember that time Elijah was agonizing over the same Israel and cried out in prayer, God, they murdered your prophets, they trashed your altars. I'm the only one left and now they're after me. And do you remember God's answer? I still have 7,000 who haven't quit. 7,000 who are loyal to the finish. It's the same today. There's a fiercely loyal minority still. Not many, perhaps, but probably more than you think. They're holding on not because of what they think they're going to get out of it, but because they are convinced of God's grace and purpose in choosing them. If they were only thinking of their own immediate self-interest, they would have left long ago. Verse 29. From your point of view, as you hear and embrace the good news of the message, it looks like the Jews are God's enemies. But looked at from the long-range perspective of God's overall purpose, they remain God's oldest friends. God's gifts and God's call are under full warranty, never cancelled, never rescinded. There was a time not so long ago when you were on the outs with God, but then the Jews slammed the door on him and things opened up for you. Now they are on the outs. But with the door held wide open for you, they have a way back in. In one way or another, God makes sure that we all experience what it means to be outside, so that He can personally open the door and welcome us back in. How many times did you reckon yourself as someone standing outside due to mishaps you did, or your plain disobedience to the voice of the Spirit? Talk to God about it. God makes sure that we all experience what it means to be outside, so that He can personally open the door and welcome us back in. In the epistle reading for this week, Paul levels the playing field. He says that we are all in the same boat. God has bound all people over to disobedience, so that He might have mercy on them all. Therefore, Paul concludes in surprise. Have you ever come on anything quite like this? Extravagant generosity of God? This deep, deep wisdom? It is way over our heads. Everything comes from Him. Everything happens through Him. Everything ends up in Him. Always glory. Always glory. Yes. 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 My friend, all the best to you for this day. From the God who is, the God who was, and the God about to arrive. He who blood washed our sins from our lives, who made us a kingdom and priests forever. Amen.